Hello, my name is Alexander Morari, and I'm the founder of ITKeyMedia. This is a podcast brought to you especially by ITKeyMedia about Central and Eastern European startups that are in pre-Series A stage. Our guest today is Madis Lehtmets, the co-founder of Remato. Remato is a construction management software for frontline SME, small, medium enterprise contractors or small, medium construction companies. Tere päevast.
Tere. Hello.
Tere. You look, I think I need to start learning Estonian, having in mind so many startups, pre-A startups that we have covered already in the podcast. And it's always a pleasure. Let's see how it goes this time. Where are you based right now, by the way?
Right now, I'm in London.
You are in London, or why?
Yes.
What are you doing there?
London, I mean, UK in general is one of our target markets right now, and I'm here to kind of actually have client meetings, have potential partner meetings. But today, just recently, I had one investor meeting, and so yeah, just opening up our business in UK.
Oh, I see. Cool. And now just a matter of a quick intro about the Remato itself. I understand this is a project management software for small, medium contractors or smaller construction companies that work for other bigger construction companies that are called usually general contractors, for those who are not familiar with the industry. Now, what was the reason for the company, before we go to the solution itself? What was the reason, right? What was the urge for you to create this kind of company? Is it the need that you found out in this industry, or just because somebody from the team is a construction professional in the third generation or similar?
Both, actually. So
bingo. Okay.
So we have 4 co-founders in total, and 2 have zero experience with construction, just technology background, and two co-founders have also experience with construction. And basically, it got started from our CTO, Ranno, and he had some experience in construction himself, building up a couple of apartments and his own house, and he ran basically the whole project himself, and he kind of managed in Excel, got this Excel budget management experience, and then he felt those pains, and then he was started to look around, like maybe there's other solutions. And he has also an older brother who is a lifelong construction entrepreneur, and he was first asking him, like, how do you manage your construction projects? Like, how do you keep track of everything? Am I going to make profit, or am I going to lose money on this, and so on? And his brother basically said that I also use Excel, and I don't have a really good overview in the middle of project what's going on. And like we have even heard many times from our customers that first time you get an overview is at the end of the month when you pay out salaries and receive some invoices, and then you can look at the bank account, and if it's a big number, then it probably was a good month. If it's a small number, then it was a bad month. And sadly, that's the reality in especially smaller companies in construction. And that's where Ranno, he's like a full stack engineer. And he immediately started building something. And Remato actually is like 8th or 9th SaaS platform that he's building on his own. So it was not the first try as well.
What an amazing story! Not only a combination of skill set and like a professional background, but also personal experience and hopping through barriers or problems and limitations of whatever is present there for this area, and then make a company out of this. Okay, cool. And you are part of what generally is understood as prop tech, a contech, right? Construction technology, kind of vertical, right? But again, usually it's defined as a part of prop tech in any case. So if somebody is watching this and doesn't know this, prop tech was probably one of the laggards, or one of the last big parts of the economy that was kind of cracked open by technology companies for different reasons. Just because this is a big of a pie, not to try and eat some of it, but at the same time there was huge competition in all the other regular like culprits like fintech, and so on and so on. But anyways, there was a hype in prop tech, and I think there was also kind of a should I say reality check, or real estate reality check. And am I right to say that the hype is over already and prop tech probably failed to disrupt the industry?
I don't think so. I think it's actually just starting to pick up, and it's too early to say if it's over. I mean, I don't know that much about PropTech, to be honest. I mean, and looking at the solutions, I'm still sometimes a bit confused why they put everything together, because construction itself is such a huge industry. I mean, it's by numbers, it's more than 10% of the global economy. It's huge industry, lots of money in there. But at the same time, it's one of the least digitalized industries, not to take into property management or like real estate development, but just construction itself. And basically, when you look at investments and interest and the different startups that are raising out in specific in construction, this is just raising and raising right now, and then it's just becoming to pick up. So I don't think it's over.
Interesting. Okay, I understand the figures on the investment side and so on, but the adoption is not as quick, should I say, as in other verticals. Madis, I think we've done a good job of warming up our viewers. So let's move on to round one, the solution itself. How would you describe the solution in a nutshell?
So it's a work management platform for small construction companies. You manage your projects, your people, your tasks, and your equipment, tools and equipment. And it's all in one. You have the communication tools in there. You have a chat. You can do a quick estimation, send out a bid proposal. Once you win the project, then you can schedule it out in your calendar, assign the tasks, and then report basically everybody on the field, the workers. They have also mobile app access to everything. They can clock in, clock out, make pictures, document how many square meters of flooring they finished this day, report the consumed materials as well, and basically gather everything, what means like in our terms proof of work, that everything is completed, documented, and then afterwards, you get different types of reports out of it. You as a company owner, then you have the proof of work for you as well. You can provide it to the general contractor if it's required. You can provide it to basically to government if it's needed, and also sometimes directly to the customer when you're doing some renovations or home extensions and so on. And so it's kind of end-to-end, let's say, all-in-one platform for a small construction company to manage their operation.
So two provocative questions. First, isn't it very much the same as any project management tool? First question. And second, isn't it more difficult to try and attract small, medium contractors who are even less probably interested in digitization than bigger companies where scale is a little bit different and learning curve might be longer to adapt a program like a solution like yours, but then the ROI might be bigger?
Very good questions. So the first one, how is it different than any other project management platform? Mostly because we are targeting field management. So it's way more mobile. Absolutely every function that we build in our platform is easily accessible from the mobile app. And actually we do design most of our features and everything mobile first. So we build the mobile app version, and then we see, okay, let's do it in desktop as well. And so everything, because especially in those small construction companies, even the managers and people who kind of run everything, they are also quite mobile. They go around in different construction sites throughout the day and so on. So, but there is almost all the features are existing already out there in different ERPs and project management platforms, but we put a bit of different angle, especially in the user experience department, how this is accessible for the workers on the field, and what features need to be a little bit different, having a different approach. So we don't serve white collar, basically. We are rather taking this blue collar approach, and this demands a little bit different approach in how do we design those functions that in a functional way exist already many years.
Because I registered myself for the demo, sort of for the trial, I mean, and on the web version, Just as I say, it is virtually not different from any other similar tool, but now you explain that your competitive advantage, let's say, is what the special focus on mobile UX. So to make it easier to use on field, in the field. Okay.
Yeah. The beauty is in the details, basically, I would say like that. Yeah. And then, yeah, like, for example, I don't know, time tracking or time management in general, timesheets, everything that is also built around more how you would need that in construction. How do you want to document everything, especially making pictures of the sites?
Yeah.
In many time management platforms or project management platforms that also have time tracking features, they are meant for agencies. You sit in the desk and you press start somewhere and it just records the time entries. You can select the project, you can select the task, but it is built in a different way, and it's not suitable for construction workers to document their work on the field.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you tested this already, that it's not just I mean, I cannot adapt or adjust an existing project management tool as closely and as tightly as closely to the needs of small medium contractors as your program and your product, right? This is not just a matter of a good tailor-made, like your tailor-made construction focused program is better suited, I understand, construction industry as any other excellent project management tool after some customization, right? This is something that this is your value proposition, right? Okay.
Exactly.
Like no matter how good, no matter how well customized is an existing project management tool, you provide this and something more on top. Okay, cool. I mean, I try to simplify the message there. So that maybe people also understand this, especially if somebody is watching this in the UK from the construction industry. Okay, and the next question, small, medium, that are more difficult, I think, to recruit as clients, users of program like that. Maybe it's quicker, but then churn, I would expect churn would be much bigger, and it's just more, difficult in a way, more difficult than big corporate clients.
Yes, in simple words, yes. It is one of our main challenges right now to find a good distribution model, but in a bigger picture, I mean, the churn is okay. It's quite average in the SaaS business, and just exactly as you predicted, the sales is quite quick compared to bigger customers. There is happening this basically why construction also is quite low in digitalization and why it's taking slow, as we talked earlier. It's mainly about generation shift as well. So right now there's still quite a lots of 50+ years old business owners and managers there, but at the same time, many employees, especially the new employees they hire, they're in their 20s, and they are born together with the internet basically, and grown up together with the internet. So the shift is happening. It seems maybe that it is slow, but it's happening steadily and strongly, and the opportunity in the industry is quite huge. And majority of the money in the industry of the whole economy in construction is going through those small and medium businesses, as they are the ones who are doing the actual building. Many of those enterprises and general contractors, they don't own any. They don't own any equipment. Most of them don't buy materials. They don't build anything. They don't employ workers. So and we are building platform for those who actually build. And yes, in that sense, that it sounds like a hard segment. It is relatively hard segment, but the price is also high, like quite big. If the first one kind of to figure it out how to distribute this industry right now, like, I mean, we're successful at sales, but we want to move more and more towards kind of automating also our sales process, and then bring in inbound leads and kind of move even faster into the sales cycle.
Build some critical mass. It will be easier, but you need to survive until you reach this critical mass, you could say, in the market.
Exactly. There's quite good of kind of this cluster or like this word of mouth as well, like, because in many projects or in areas, lots of construction companies who are subcontractors. They work together in different sites quite often with the same subcontractors. Like one does electricity, another one does, I don't know, painting, and they meet quite often, and especially when they do work in the similar area.
Interesting. So
yeah.
If I'm a contractor, let's say I'm doing foundations, and you do the shell and core, and somebody else is doing the HVAC, then there is some kind of continuity. If, for example, my client is the same general contractor, let's not mention, but let's say this is Scanword, let's say Scanword International, yeah, for example. This is my GC, and so I'm working for them as foundation subcontractor. You're working as shell and core subcontractor, and somebody else is HVAC subcontractor. And so it just popped up in my mind the question: is there any opportunity for us, me, you, and this third guy, to somehow operate in a overlapping environment in your program? Meaning, would my contact of points of contact in this Scanword International GC company can be transferred, if I allow this, to my other complementary subcontractor? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sometimes you can start only when I finish. And when I finish, it means I sign off, like I finish my part of work, and then I have some documentations. And moreover, sometimes on the merit side, the next subcontractor in the Gantt chart, let's say, very often relies on information and details from the previous subcontractor. Ooh,
exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. In
do
reality,
you have anything like this in the company?
Theoretically, this is what needs to happen. This is where it needs to arrive eventually, that the different parties in this whole world operate together in one platform. But practically, it's not happening right now. It's not happening in our platform. It's not happening in many other platforms. So it's quite difficult, shattered industry. But we are partially moving towards that. But right now we are focusing on fixing problems inside one construction business for their own productivity purposes, efficiency purposes, making sure that they can protect themselves from disputes and laws and everything like that, make sure everything is compliant. But eventually, yes, next step is that, or sooner or later, it has to arrive to a moment where all the different parties in the bigger projects can operate in one info system where everything is kind of synced together.
Maybe you could introduce also this the economy of what's that, evaluation and opinion economy, right? That when subcontractors might give, I don't know, stars or whatever, or opinions about general contractors. Yes, they pay on time, or not. No, they sign agreements and then don't pay the whole amount or something. You know what I mean? Reputation economy, maybe at some point, especially if you really plan to stay on the side of small, medium subcontractors, then you should defend also their, let's say, rights and positions in front of bigger guys in the industry, right?
Exactly. That's already what we're partially doing. Like, we are helping them to get their documentation right, so they can protect themselves in this hierarchy.
Because let's admit, small subcontractors very often live from paycheck to paycheck. And these are not very hugely rich and companies very often. I don't say always, but very often. And when a GC takes, abuses a subcontractor, very often that's not only end of company, but very often that's the beginning of a frustration kind of and depression in their lives and so on. So very often there are, like, I hear histories of going bankrupt. And it's really stressful. So
there's lots of unfair stories also that I've heard from our own customers and partners and so on, that there's many cases that I've seen and heard that exactly that happens, that some of the general contractors abuses their power and also the situation that the documentations are not that correct, and basically the subcontractor gets screwed over with some quite big money, at least for them. The general contractor can still take out their profits, but at the same time, those smaller guys, they don't get all the money or no money at all. And the ones that get most hurt are the workers who have actually worked for many months. And I've seen and heard stories where they come abroad from abroad, from other country. They work, for example, in Estonia for 3 months and they don't get paid because something above, there was a conflict in above and somebody was screwed over, and the guys who literally worked, they don't get paid, and that's for me is cruel and unfair, and one of our actual like recent kind of sentence, or like our mission, or how we wrote down it quite recently, is that Remato exists because we want to make construction efficient, more efficient and fair.
Yeah. So I think there's also a big element of ESG behind the philosophy of your product. If you look at it from, solution and platform, if you look at it from the helicopter kind of view, right? That you let's put it this way: if you get successful, like hugely successful, the construction industry, just to say, will be a more fair and transparent industry. That's for sure. And maybe that would mean more talented people will be interested to enter this industry, right?
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, interesting. Wow. As far as, and by the way, do you manage also invoicing and getting payments from GCs on the platform as well?
Not yet. Eventually we will. Like, I mean, we have already the first version of a budgeting released. You can send out the proposals, you can estimate your costs, but yeah, those whole payment world is kind of next steps, and eventually we will get there, but it's a quite big project.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the financials as far as the business itself? Monthly subscriptions, how many packages are there, the pricing for different markets? Let's take a Estonian market and UK, if there's any difference. If you can share any details about your usual regular startup metrics like MRR or number of clients, so something like this.
Yeah, so we are currently at 50,000 euros MRR. We have over 300 paying companies, most of them in Estonia, some in Finland, Sweden, UK, Canada, but most still in Estonia. And yeah, last month we grow like 8% month over month. And yeah, I mean, the business model currently is like a modular platform, so you don't have to subscribe for everything, and basically it's divided into 3 modules. You have the project management and budgeting as one module, then people management and work tracking as second one, and the tools and equipment is the third module.
So on average, based on what you say, it's more or less each paying customer pays around 165 euros, right, monthly?
Yeah, roughly like that. Yeah.
Okay, and there's a modularity. Okay, and what's the minimum? I mean, let's say, like, what's the minimum? You would say the minimum required package, and how much it would cost me?
So the minimum package is 90 euros per month.
Okay, and maximum?
Yeah, there is no limit, because the minimum package, for example, for the team or the crew and work tracking is 90 euros, which is up to 10 people. Over 10 people, it's 9 euros per person. So if you're,
I see.
like,
okay.
We and same for asset management. So every 200 assets is 90 euros. So tools and equipment goes into assets, and basically, if you are a big company, like we have companies who are kind of outside our like sweet spot. Our sweet spot is around like 10 to 50 people companies, but we have bigger companies as well. Right now, actually, we are in discussion with one company that is over 300 people. So it's the monthly fee from them would be in thousands, a couple of thousands of euros. So there is always room to sell also for the bigger ones, but it's not our ideal setup, because usually when the organizations grow, then also the access management and security inside the company goes more complicated. Who has access, multiple departments who can edit someone's details, and different levels of managers and so on, and we don't have that complicated user access management system to like kind of tailor this type of companies, and it's not also quite easy task. So right now we are focusing on 10 to 50 people companies mostly, but we do exceptions if it suits.
So it's easier for you to have 30 companies with 10, 15 people each than one company of 400 or so, right?
Yeah, most cases, yes. Most cases, yes.
Mm-hmm. In the last month or so, what's the biggest achievement of the company, you would say, before we move to next round?
Last month, we did our sales record in May. That was a good achievement. And we had quite successful UK construction week visit as well. We were in London with total of 8 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, at an event. We had our own booth out there, and yeah, we were here with 8 people. We had almost the whole sales team here. We had marketing, design, product side, and we kind of we had quite a lot of fun. We did exhibition at the same time. We also visited the city. We put on our high vis yellow vests, and we just randomly walked around, entered construction sites, asked for site managers, and because we had those high vis vests on top of our black hoodies, or like the sweaters that I'm wearing right now.
Yeah,
this looked like we are some kind of inspection, and quite often those security guards or laborers were really willing to, hey, yeah, okay, I will invite the site manager. And then we just did like product and marketing market research. We interviewed different site managers, and that was quite fun. And I think that UK trip in early May was, with the whole half of our team, this was definitely a great success and good for us. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So to give just some background, that was a UK construction week, I understand.
Yes.
And you spent there, what, 3 days or so, and you even got a corner stand. I can see now,
yes,
on the
yes.
crossroad. That it was a corner stand. I can see this.
Yeah, exactly. It was a nice stand. Yeah.
Look, I just realized now how big a potential London market is for you, because London market is abundant with small, medium contractors or smaller construction companies, because London is not only growing upwards, but also reshaping itself. Having in mind, it's like several hundreds of construction activities and so on. And I think there are much more refurbishment projects than new developments. And
exactly.
I just realized now how big a potential you have in London or of similar big cities, where the portion of old buildings is pretty high, and that's where London definitely.
And that's funny that you realize that, because right now we more or less have decided to focus on renovation companies in UK.
Which is huge market. Yeah. And these companies are pretty affluent, I could say, because very often these small villas or these Victorian houses and so on, they are of course there's an ups and downs in pricing, but I think it's still very, very expensive to buy a house, right, or even a flat in London, and that's where the margin for you would be easier to create, I think. Especially if you really provide ROIs and real value to those companies. That of course is part of your sales process.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And we have seen that they are a little bit easier target also for us, as most of the responsibilities regarding different compliances and safety and everything for those like home extension builders and renovation companies, they are responsible for all of that on their own. In a bigger project, when they work for general construction, in those cases, many of those responsibilities fall on the general contractor. So that's also like they have to manage everything on their own. They have to get the documentation together, the pictures, everything like that. So they are not in a hierarchy. They are kind of there's a term called self-contractors as well, or self-building contractors. So they are in kind of like a main contractor for that private customer, but they also build everything on their own.
So we could call them small contract general contractor.
Yeah, basically.
Or small medium. Okay. Madis, thank you very much. Let's move on. Round number 2, competitors. This is a competitive landscape, as we realized. not only from regular project management tools, but also from similar tools for construction industry. Would you choose one or two that you would like to mention as far as your competition because you respect them, or because you want to crush them, or because you learn from them, or any other reason?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can't go around without mentioning Procore. They are the biggest player in the industry, though they do focus on enterprise mostly. They are operating mostly with big companies, but they're quite old, like they're 20 years in the business or something like that. They're the biggest one. They are, as far as I know, in this type of construction management platforms, they are the only unicorn, US based. They're also operating in UK.
And they are already a public company, right? I understand.
Yes, exactly.
They're on New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah. Yeah, and they went public like a year or 2 years ago, quite recently actually. But yeah, Procore they're not our direct competitor. We rather probably will sooner or later integrate with their platform so that some of our data that is captured with our platform can be run through into bigger projects for general contracts. So exactly for the purposes that we were talking earlier, that essentially all those players need to work together, but it does not mean that everybody has to use the same software, but we can do this also through integration. But yeah, so Procore is still something that also we always need to mention when we talk about construction technologies and platforms like that. Then there are a bunch of platforms that target also similarly rather smaller companies and more site operations. Yeah. Often they are also more focused on some specific feature set, for example, like field lens and field wire. Field lens, for example, focuses more on kind of reporting some mistakes, taking a picture and putting it out.
Based on like Plan Radar, you probably know them, right?
Yes, Plan Radar also. They are quite a lot of about blueprints and managing everything on there. So there is not that many whose focus having this similar all-in-one focus for small companies like we do, but there are lots of different companies who have some combination of feature sets that overlap with ours, with one of our modules or some of our features that we have. So it's I would say Coins maybe is one platform that has maybe the most similar kind of total feature set, but they're also
how do you spell it?
Coins, like coin, like penny, coins in the multiple. They have a nice platform, yeah, but they also they have features for bigger companies and they focus a little bit in the higher end, but in if you look broadly, like different modules and features, what they have really similar setup as we do.
Cool.
And then basically every market where you go, small, big, they have some local players, mostly around time tracking. So like just gathering the field hours, how many hours people are doing, especially in markets where hourly work is more popular than, I don't know, salaries or daily rates or fixed prices. In UK, it's more mixed. In Estonia, it's heavily hourly based. In Finland, also hourly based. But yeah, in UK, it's sometimes daily rate, sometimes hourly rate, for example. Yeah, weekly as well. But usually it's still like either daily rate or hourly rate, but paid out weekly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, my younger brother is in London, and he's active in the construction business. Works with smaller companies that are refurbishing, and
you need to introduce us now.
I will. Yeah, that was my first reaction. Of course. I mean, first I test to check you, and I like it so far. You will get a call from his employer for sure. Let's move on.
Very good.
Madis. Round 3, quick Q&A it's one question, one answer, okay? Your productivity hack as a busy CEO, co-founder, and business developer as well, I understand. What are your productivity hacks to be on top of your tasks, goals, challenges? Not the tool, but the way you do things.
Okay. For some reason, lately, I'm not a big fan of to-do lists. So instead, what I have done when there's something critical that I know that I have to do, then I book it immediately in my calendar as an event. So I know that I need to, I don't know, deliver something or focus on this task, or I don't know, and send out an investor update, for example, or something like whatever it is. And I remember, okay, I have to do it. And, or somebody tells me that, hey, can you please do that? And then I will, if it's important, then I will immediately plan it in my calendar, not put into some to-do list somewhere. I sometimes, based on days, like in the morning, okay, today I need to get this and that done. Then sometimes I have like a short to-do list for the day. But in bigger picture, if I have important things, then directly into calendar. That's pretty much the only thing that I remember that I'm doing differently than not everybody does.
So to rephrase that, what you do is you get rid of one of the intermediators in the productivity kind of dimension, which is to-do list. Because in any case, a to-do list without the planning for a specific date or hour is not effective. So you could say that your to-do list is your calendar.
Basically, yes. Yeah.
Okay. And if that's a task for the day, you will put it as a whole day event. I understand. Not for a specific, not for a specific hour, but just like a whole day event, or what to do? What to do?
I'd rather try to put in a specific time slot.
Blocks. Okay.
Yeah, so I block literally, and another thing sometimes that I do when I know that I have a bunch of smaller things that I need to go through, or I have a long list of emails that I need to go through, and I know that they are not easy ones. I need to actually focus and maybe send some reports to somebody and whatever. Then I just block focus time, because otherwise, I mean, I happen to get quite a lot of meetings, events here and there for whatever reasons, internal, external, and so on. Then I book ahead on some day, like 4 hours, 3 hours, just focus time. That's not.
And this is how other team members see in the calendar, right? This is your focus time.
Exactly.
Okay. Exactly. And this automatically blocks you from being invited to other events and so on, right?
Yes. Right? Yes. Okay. Sometimes the team members who still see it, that everybody sees each other's calendar in our team, but when they see it, then they sometimes ask, hey, I have this topic, it's quite important, can we just steal like a half an hour from your time? Then sometimes it's fine, it's still fine, but just to kind of make it more hard.
You give them your hourly rate in euros for such a break in the routine, and it's okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And one last question here: what environment do you use? Google Suite or some other Microsoft, or what do you use?
Google, Google and Slack.
Google Suite. Okay. Okay. And what about the chat in the company? Would you use Google?
Slack.
Slack still. Okay. Have you noticed any changes after Slack was acquired?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Madis, thanks a lot. I think that was a pretty specific, and should I say, how I don't know, there's a new aphorism. What you said about your productivity hack is very TikTok worthy.
Very good. Very good.
We're planning to set up an account there. I think we have so many pearls of wisdom from you guys that we will be able to put like 30 seconds or so clips sometime in the future. Thank you. Let's move on. Madis, so now about the company itself. So correct me where I'm wrong. Founded 2018, 4 years ago or so. 4 co-founders: Madis Lehtmets, Rano Kaumägi, Toomas Savisaar, Siim Puskai, right?
Exactly.
All correct. So 4 founders. How many team members do you have right now?
Right now we have 19 or 18.
19, 18 dispersed, or in an office or remote, or a combo?
Mixed. So we have one in UK, we have most in Estonia, we have 2 in Ukraine, developers, and then that's it, 3. And in Estonia we have also 2 offices, one in Tallinn, one in Tartu. Tartu is actually our kind of headquarters. Most of the team is there, and all the technology product team is there.
Why?
Just because
historically,
historically all the founders were there, and we founded as a Tartu company, and we are relatively patriotic about it. So we like that we are a Tartu company, and we like that we can be headquarters there, and we will protect that fact.
Okay, cool.
As far as it is economically reasonable.
If you compare it to London, it will be always economically reasonable, I think.
Yeah. But I mean in a manner where keeping that would drastically, I know, keep us from growing or whatever.
For example, a US investor forces you to register your headquarters in Delaware jurisdiction.
Oh, then we will find another investor.
Really interesting. Okay, cool. How many client-facing? I mean, as far as technology guys and like programmers, coders, I know probably more or less all the challenges and so on. But anyways, you are faring well. What about the client-facing team members? How many sales executives or managers, directors you have besides you? Because I understand you are now on a sales mission there as well, right?
Yes. Right now I'm part-time UK salesman, but we have full-time salespeople 3. In marketing we have 1 full-time, 1 half-time, who is like we have 2 full-time people. One is full-time marketing, another one is supporting in marketing, partially also in product side. So yeah, 4 or 5 people total in actually, you know, one of the founders is also like our sales head of sales. He's also
Thomas,
mostly
yeah,
exactly, Thomas. Yeah. So
it's one of the 2 co-founders who had experience in construction, I understand.
Exactly. Yeah. Thomas was also had been working in construction and also selling to construction. He was working in tool renting business before as well. So he knows how to speak with the customers. He knows their pains because he's been a site manager himself, and he knows how to sell them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, wow. Interesting. What would you say would make a candidate to work with your company a successful candidate that you would hire? Which is another way of asking a question. What's the culture in the company?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to say that I've come to quite recently more and more understand that that kind of team spirit is really important, and it's even more important that somebody fits in compared to, I don't know, he has just super resume and a really good skill set. So because even if there is a good skill set, but they are not a good match with the existing team, then this could break the whole dynamic and essentially be net negative in the whole kind of productivity of the team.
To keep you in the sparring match kind of mode, Madis, to keep you in the sparring match kind of mode, you want to say that you're against diversity in the team in terms of ways of thinking, mindset, mentalities, and so on? Or because if I do not fit with your current moods in the team and so on, means I'm different, means you need people that are more or less the same as your current 18, right? And again, I'm not talking about ethnicities, race, and so on and so on. No. Just saying different personality even.
We do have quite a lot of, we have very different personalities in the team, but I mean, it's still, I mean, it comes to, I think it comes to in some sort of team spirit that you have to be a team player, not an individual player. You could be like a super great guy, but if you're in individualists, then it's not going to work out that well. So
okay, then as far as like you're the founder and manager, like top manager in the team, right, in the company, okay, and so now you say we need everybody to play this on the same side of the pitch, to play in the same team, let's say football team, and we have a goal that we need to score goals there, right? Okay, now you can either just sell this to employees as your vision and so on, okay, clear, but is there any support on the remuneration models or bonus models, you know what I mean? Or on more like down-to-earth kind of tools to keep the team spirit alive.
It's different based on roles. I mean,
Yeah.
in sales, we have quite direct bonus systems. And
based on individual or team results?
Mostly individual, but there like yeah, that's a good point. So basically, we do have existing system that is partially team-based as well, but it's not been effective so far. I mean, the milestones that we have put there, they have never been reaching those. But it mostly, you are correct. So most of those bonuses are individual in sales. In product team, there is no kind of result-based.
So discretionary, kind of like milestone-based or something. So you see what I mean? Like, we founders can announce and declare whatever we like, but then when you dig a little bit deeper, maybe there's a reality check. And let me disclose something that I try to do in the team in one of the companies. So we have their individual results, but also we have individual bonuses for good sales and so on when you hit target and above. Yeah. And then, but also I introduced team bonus, which means in my case, when every team member hits their targets, the company gives, in my case, 5% of the gross sales amounts as team bonus, which is distributed proportionally to your individual results. So you as a sales person, consultant in the company, if you are successful, this is not enough. Or this is not all the financial rewards you could take from the company. And then imagine somewhere halfway the sales month or sales period, let's say a quarter in our case. In the second month, you hit your targets, you can relax, or you can keep doing that. But if you see your guy sitting next to you is behind the target or below the target, mathematical formula motivates you to come and ask, how can I help? Sometimes it's you do 4-hour extra work for you to help the guy, maybe to hit like 10 more calls or to approach with like 10 more clients and so on and so on. But in the end, you could have up to like 20-30% on more of than your individual bonus alone, and it worked. And moreover, you as a manager, you can allow them, you can afford not to look over their shoulders what they are doing. If you leave, the team has intrinsic mathematical motivation, not only focus on own individual targets, but also help each other. So for example, if I go on holiday or something, I share my work, somehow distribute, I know it will be done. Why? Because we're working not only for individual, but also for team, which is an extra bonus.
Makes sense. I think it's a great idea. Maybe we should even consider that.
Yeah, but test it first, of course, or we could discuss it after this. Madis, round number 5, Formula F3, or funding for the future, as we call this round. And before we go and cover the future, the funding or investment by now was more or less 1.5 million euro seed investment with the following lineup of investors: Passion Capital, Super Angel, Lemonade Stand, Spring Capital. Yeah, and previously you raised also from founders of Pipedrive and Bolt that are, of course, boosting the startup ecosystem in the whole Baltic region for sure. So you're lucky to have those guys already like second and third generation of investors in the region. Now, where do you stand right now? What are your plans about the next round?
So the next round currently is planned later this year. I would say August, September, maybe October. So quite soon. And this is going to be a bit smaller round, and then we are aiming for our Series A next year. I would say like a year from now. This is the current plan.
Madis, what can I say? That's a huge untapped market for sure, and you went right at a big market, which is London. And I hope you will manage, to hit it there. And good luck, success. with the expansion to London and to the whole UK and other markets that you plan to expand. Thank you very much. That was a great conversation, and I'm sure viewers will find some takeaways there, pearls of wisdom from you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Alex, and thank you for having me. It was a nice conversation.
Madis, thanks. All the best. Bye bye. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.